Hey, everybody, this here is Monty Mont. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Shareholders podcast. It's a blessing to be here before you guys, and I am excited on today's topic. I got some heavy hitters here, man. I got some people in the biz. We talking commerce. I mean, it's getting ready to be Christmas time, and unfortunately, we know there are a lot of restrictions, a lot of places where we can't maybe hit the malls like we normally do. So I am expecting, and I'm sure a lot of people are expecting, a lot of heavy online shopping this year. We've had it going, it's kind of been a boulder that's been rolling anyway, but I feel like this year is going to be a huge surge in online shopping. And of course, there's no bigger place literally on the web to go than the Amazon, of course. So I have a couple people here with me who are deep into those roots as well. First of all, I have a husband and wife team who are just together. They joined the powers to sell and be in commerce. This is Mark and LaShawn Wilson. How you guys doing today?
Blessed, doing great, Monty.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And then, of course, we have as well, in the circle gets the square, the Hollywood squares, if you will, in the middle, down a little bit. This gentleman was actually my first guest on this show way back, probably almost a year ago. He's back again, Mr. William Slade. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, great. Thank you for having me back. The last time I was here, I think we were using rotary phones. So I appreciate you remembering your boy.
We come a long way. We didn't come a long way.
Yeah.
So all of you guys are involved in Amazon in terms of selling, and for a lot of people, I don't even know if a lot of people really realize that you guys, when you buy, let's say, that coffee maker, or you buy, you know what I'm saying, that set of cutlery, you know what I mean? Someone, you're not just buying that from Amazon International, if you will, most of the time.
Right.
Usually there's somebody who is a seller who is, got the goods that you want and are passing along to you, and they probably got it, wholesale or whatever like that. And so that usually is a person that you're actually helping in their business as they're helping you, So I want to just very quickly, though, just give you a quick, very, very brief overview from Amazon. Of course, Amazon was started by Jeff Bezos. You want to feel old? My God, way back, he started this in 1994. July 5th, he actually started Amazon. The internet was barely in its infancy, and he really wanted to do this. And it was really just about books back then. I remember late 90s hearing the name Amazon, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And then I was about some books, who's gonna buy books, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we know that it started things off on a path that he is now the biggest seller in the world. Now, I want to give you some statistics very quickly. Did you know that Amazon last year, in 2018, they reported a sales of $232 billion in 2018. In 2019, that jumped to $280 billion. They did, in a year, they did that. And it is exponentially growing. They say that there are over 100 million Amazon Prime members around the world, and there are actually more members than there are non-Prime members. And almost 1 in 3 Americans have a Prime membership. Not just that use Amazon, but actually have a Prime membership. Millennials are a huge target audience for Amazon, and Amazon, as we know, is really taking over a lot of the old brick and mortar stores that we're used to. So first thing I want to ask my panel is, what made you guys really want to even get into the business of selling on Amazon, and how long have you been doing it?
Well, mine was kind of a progression. Started out, selling eBay, buying liquidation, used some good stuff, and then actually was sitting next to Will, and he was talking about he was selling on Amazon, and I think I started back in November 2016. Right after I got married. So it was a kind of a different process trying to get acclimated to a wife and starting a new business. But actually, Will was telling me, yeah, man, I'm selling on Amazon. I was selling games on eBay, and I'm selling this much. And I've always been an entrepreneur. I'm like, okay, tell me a little bit more. And what do you do? Is it legal? What's going on? And he shared some of his experiences with Amazon and his progression from selling on eBay So what I did was I started going to garage sales and finding stuff because I just put my foot in the water. I wasn't going all in. So nope, I'm not putting a whole lot of money in this. I'm just going to put my foot in. Went to garage sales, built up some inventory, shipped it in, and it started selling like crazy. And that was it. I was all in at that point. So since about the end of 2016, Amazon's become a gold mine for
Well,
my home.
now I want to ask you then, let's ask a hard question. I'm gonna ask your wife. Now, did he have to really convince you to get into this too? Or were you like, I want to just see what happens with what he's doing? Like how much were you into it at the start?
I think at the start, when he started doing eBay, I got involved because he would get this liquidation items and he would get like, say, a grinder, like a coffee grinder that may have, say, a broken blade or something like that. He would tear it down and try to figure out how to sell it. So it's like, well, babe, why don't you call this vendor and see if we can buy or if they give us the missing part so we can sell it. So I started getting used to it from him. It was a big time commitment.
Yeah.
It's times that he would come home from his regular job and spend sometimes 6, 7, 8 hours. This is during the week on Amazon. Then on the weekends, it was hours and hours trying to figure out how to make it work. This website, that website, trying to figure out how to get the best price. So it's a big time commitment. But I saw some of the benefits of it.
Yeah. That helped you out a little bit. Okay.
That was convincing to eat out with Applebee's on the weekends instead of having toast at home. But no, she was really supportive of me to it because it was an adjustment because we were newly married. It was a lot of time was committed to it, so that took time from us learning each other and building our home. So she got behind it, and now she's all in 100%.
So then, Will, for those if you don't know from our first episode, if you can just fill people in very quickly again, how you got
Oh yeah, real quick. I've been I don't know, selling online for maybe 5 years now, and like Mark was saying, I started out just flipping video games on eBay and then liquidation on eBay, and then as things kept growing, I began to realize that one of the issues I was facing was man hours that I just didn't have. As the inventory was growing, it was becoming more and more difficult to deal with inventory, deal with sales and picking and packing orders and all that while still sourcing. And so that's when I learned about FBA, or Fulfilled by Amazon, where Amazon will do all of your customer relations and your order fulfillments for you. And so that helped me to leverage some of that part of the business with Amazon that let me then free up time to continue to grow with managing and sourcing and stuff like that. So in a nutshell, I ended up leaving eBay. It was becoming a little unsustainable as far as time. Whereas Amazon, even though there are some different challenges with Amazon than with eBay. eBay can be a lot easier. It's just that as you're growing, Amazon, their FBA program, it just made life a lot easier with them fulfilling for me and not me having to do all of my fulfillments. So that's
can you for real quick, for the layman, so when you say fulfilled by Amazon, so before, basically, like, what were you doing before that, and then what did that really mean?
Yeah, so like, let's just say that we'll just say a coffee grinder. So I find this coffee grinder, I clean it up, I list it on eBay, and then it sells. Okay, so now what happens that it sells? Now I need to go and find a box to ship it in. I need to find some type of packing products to keep the item secured while it's shipping, so it doesn't get busted up, because these guys, they just throw stuff around, these shipping couriers. They don't care about the product. They'll throw item from their truck all the way to the porch, and keep moving. And then at that point, the customer want a return or refund. So, so you have to learn how to pack your stuff properly so it gets to your customer safely. And then you're printing off shipping labels and all of that, that's fulfillment. So, you can get the product, but then once you sell it, you have to go buy boxes or find boxes. And then you want to find the right size boxes, because if you ship it, the larger the boxes that you ship in, the larger the dimensions and the more weight, it eats you up in cost. So that's how shipping goes. Shipping is all about dimensions and weight. And so if you're shipping everything in a big box, then your business is gonna, fail pretty soon. So you have to find the right size boxes, and that's not always easy if you have all different type size products. And so it gets a lot easier when I can just take these products and I can put them all in one big box and send it to Amazon's warehouse. And then that way, when I receive an order, Amazon already have all the different size boxes and all the packing peanuts and packing pillows and all that stuff. And they fulfill that order for me. And then if the customer have questions, have issues, Amazon will also field all those questions and concerns from the customer for me as well. So that whole fulfillment process was just, it was given over to Amazon. And then that allowed me not to have to worry about order fulfillments at all. And then I could just spend all of my time finding more products, so just leveraging my time that way.
So Mark and LaShawn, you guys use that as well?
Yep, that was our means of selling, because the time commitment and prepping all of the stuff, it wasn't sustainable for me, because I was still working, 10 hours a day, and then have to come home and, like we'll say, get the boxes and pack the stuff and ship it out. But fulfillment by Amazon was the way to go, because then it moved me from getting liquidation stuff to sourcing brand items from stores. So everything is already packaged, just put it in the box, ship it to Amazon, and let them do the work. But also, even with that, there's still issues dealing with Amazon. Even if they're fulfilling, there's other things that you have to deal with returns and them basically taking over your product and determining what the return policy is, who can return it, when they can return it. They basically take ownership and pay out your little bit of money from your sales. But that's the downside of having Amazon fulfill your product, is basically you give it to them. You don't have the headache of dealing with the customers, but then again, you give up your rights to your products, however they feel fit. If they want, if they can allow someone to return something a year later. They could wear it, use it, and return it, and there's nothing you can do, because you basically have signed over your rights using their services as to fulfill your product.
And that's where I wanted to go next, because so for young prospective sellers, like, man, I want to do that, blah blah blah. As you already heard, first of all, Will kind of broke down just, okay, well, you selling coffee cups, how you gonna get it to the people? You gotta have boxes, and do you have time? I've had people on the show that have little businesses, and they'll tell me, like, my whole front room is just boxes full of like stuff I gotta ship out, and it gets to be a lot. Mm-hmm. And then now, Mark, you're actually bringing up a point that, again, Amazon is the big person, so you guys are all kind of subsidiaries within that, if you will, and you're doing your commerce, but they make the rules. And Will, you talked about some frustrating times where they just reject something or they shut something down. Yes. And you can't talk to nobody and all that. So
man, I just received a couple of weeks ago, back when I had a private label product that failed. It was some wheel casters for chairs. And I sold these wheel casters. It was well over 2 years ago. Well, I just received a message like 2 weeks ago that somebody returned my wheel casters to Amazon. They accepted the return, and Amazon took $40 out of my account. Now, you know, how in the world do you allow somebody to return a 2-year-old wheelcaster and get full money back? And I had no say in it. I was not allowed to rebut it or protest or nothing. Just $40 was gone. And in another instance, I sold I think a 3/4 length Columbia coat on Amazon. I think I purchased the coat maybe in September. I sold the coat, and I think it was in March, after the winter was over, and they had rolled around in salt and and seaweed and everything and leaves and everything else. That coat showed up at my front door, man. So, you know, man, how do you justify that? I don't know, but you know, Amazon, you know, they are so customer centric that really they, you know, I hate to say it like this, but they have little regard for the seller, especially the small seller. Now, you know, once you get to becoming multi-million-dollar seller, you may have some more weight that way, but when you're just a small guy, you know, Amazon will treat you any old kind of way. So that's something people have to consider, because eBay is not like that. And also Amazon will compete with you. So if you find a hot product and you're selling that product and it's killing, all of a sudden you'll see Amazon show up on the listing. They will drop the price, you know, by like, you know, 30%, and which you can't sell it now because, you know, it kills your margins. And then if you try to liquidate, so you drop your price to match Amazon's, Amazon won't share the sales with you. And you have to drop your price below them. And then you'll look up and then they'll drop their price below you. And then you'll just, they'll force you to sell at just bare bottom prices if they want to. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just try to sell out and then move on to find another product to sell. So eBay will never compete with its customers. They'll never compete with its clientele. And so those are things to consider, you know, when you know, if you don't have, at this point, I used to encourage folks to sell on Amazon, but now I encourage people to start with eBay. You know, and then once you get to the place where you're getting so big, you know, that it's taking so much time to fulfill your stuff, then you might want to consider having Amazon assist you in fulfilling your orders. But starting out, I think eBay is the easiest way to go.
Well, I agree with Will 100%. If you're starting out, eBay would be the platform. It prepares you for Amazon. You start seeing how to sell, how to source, what to expect. But then again, Amazon is a whole different monster when you start selling on their platform, because you're going to run into a whole different set of issues. And if you're trying to sell with little money looking for instant return, that's you're going into it not realistically. You have to prepare yourself for the long game. Amazon's not an overnight get rich platform. And you can't get tied, emotionally tied to a product. I was sourcing some roach traps from Walmart, and was getting them for like $2 on Walmart, and was selling them for like $18 on Amazon. And I was at the point where Walmart would never have them in stock because I would buy them all. As soon as I got them in stock, I would buy. So I monopolized these. And then Amazon started looking at the sales rankings on that, and they decided to go to the manufacturer of these traps and entered into agreement. And before I know it, I'm sitting with 75 units that I can't sell because Amazon is now selling them for $3, and I'm out.
That is okay. So then I want to ask LaShawn this. So, you know, the beauty sometimes of having, you know, somebody with you is that they'll fight the battles for you that maybe you don't feel like fighting. But for you, LaShawn, how is that dealing with this corporate monster where, you know, they do stuff like that to y'all, you know, and I'm sure you were like, hold on a minute, but what can you really do?
Nothing but support him. And so when that would fall through, he would always try to find something different, something else. So he was always looking at it. I don't want to say a different hustle, but he's always looking constantly, what's next, what's next. So he never got dependent on just one item.
Mm-hmm.
He always had a number of different items he would look at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, things would fall through, but he always had something else that he had in the background to try something different. And sometimes things didn't work out.
Yeah. So it was, yeah, so she had to learn that end of the business, that, you know, you can't get upset over returns. If you got ample amount of stuff and you got to drop the price where you're only making $2 on the sale, because you got to get out. It's almost like the stock market. You get in while it's hot,
Yeah,
sell it when you can,
Yep.
and when the price starts dropping, because you always got new people coming on to the platform, and they're zealous, and they want to get their first sale.
Yep.
And they're not really looking to make money. They're just excited to be a part of the platform. So they're selling stuff dirt cheap, and they may have a ton of it. So you may have to drop your price, take a penny loss, and move on. But that's part of something she had to get used to, that end of you can't be emotional over the sales.
And sometimes it's seasonal, like probably over probably the last quarter. Sometimes he would be up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, constantly looking for something, constantly trying to find the best price, looking at Kohl's, looking at Walmart. So he's constantly always working, trying to find something else. And so like the last quarter it's a lot.
Okay, now that was my next point then, or my next question is, how do you find the next thing? Like, do you have a strategy of, you know, because again, it's Amazon, so you could sell whatever you want. You know, you were talking about, you know, this is things I love when I hear these conversations though, because they said roach traps. So you were talking about wheel casters to be on office chairs. You could do whatever you want,
Right.
but you want to find something that's marketable. So how are you guys finding, you know, the hidden gems, or just something that's practical that, you know, like you say, might be seasonal?
Yeah, Mark, give us your sourcing secrets.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about tactical arbitrage? Actually, there's really no secrets in it. The two things that I found was really helpful to me was I had to invest into my sourcing vehicles. For one, is I joined a group and paid $2,000 to have a person mentor me, because I needed to know what the $1 million sellers were doing, because no one is sharing that information with you. I don't know any $1 million sellers, maybe, you know, will, but outside of that, I don't know any $1 million sellers that's on the Amazon platform. So I said, if I want to get to that level, I needed to find the people who was doing it. And so Will introduced me to, in just a casual conversation, to a Christian lady who he had spoken with, or maybe have done some business with, and said, Mark, you need to check her out. I think she's reputable. She seems like a good person. She's a Christian. So I reached out to her, and she had a group. And she says, well, we're going to have this 4-month mentoring group, and I think you need to be a part of it, but it's going to cost you. And I said, how much? They said $2,000. I took a deep breath. I said, if I'm going to make the commitment and do this, I need to get involved. Yeah. And it was the best investment that I've ever made in this business, because it panned out to the point 2.5 years later, they are still mentoring me in what they're doing, sending me webinars on how they make $1 million plus a year, what they're doing, how they're sourcing, and they provide these buy lists. Now there's a number of things you can do to source, and I'll let Will dig deep into tactical arbitrage, but there's software that you can purchase that will run scans for you to find a sellable product. It's very time consuming. I don't have the time to do it. I have the software, I use it occasionally, but there are people who sell buy lists they use the software and then they provide lists for you to buy. So only thing you have to do is wait for their email to come with their list, and you just buy. You just buy. You pay a monthly subscription, and there's a ton of them out there, and you just buy. So I've been subscribing to those, and then you have these rabbit holes. You may find something, say if you're buying some Nike shoes or something, and they may have them in blue. Well, you may go to that site and see that they have them in black and white. So those are the rabbit holes. So you're gonna grab the blue, and you're gonna grab the black, you're gonna grab the white, and you're gonna grab them in different sizes. So one buy can end up expanding to many buys on that particular site, because you can grab, especially with the clothing, you can grab different sizes and in different colors. But essentially, my main sourcing is buy list, and I use tactical arbitrage around fourth quarter. I use tactical around this time because it's easy to find stuff and do reverse scans during fourth quarter, which is the Christmas season. And Will, do you want to?
Okay, so we'll break down tactical arbitrage for us, if you
Well, well, I mean, Mark did a good job of breaking it down. I don't want to go too much detail because it'll just confuse people. But yeah, tactical arbitrage is just one of the applications out there that will do scanning for you. And what is scanning? Scanning is where you can program these applications to scan Walmart's toy department, and then scan and compare the prices of all the toys that it finds in Walmart's toy department, to compare the price with the same product that's being sold on Amazon. And so then you put these parameters in there that say, hey, I'm looking for a product where I can get maybe 30% returns, 25% returns, 40% returns, or whatever your return on investment might be. And you put these parameters or filters in there. And as this software is scanning all of Walmart's toy department and comparing the price of each unique toy with that same toy on Amazon, it will spit out a report to you of all the things that it found according to your parameters. So you'll get a full list of toys for sale at Walmart that is selling at Amazon for a return on investment. If you were to buy it from Walmart and sell it on Amazon, a return on investment of 40% or 30% or 25%, whatever your parameters are. And so, there are multiple tools out there that can help run scans against stores. And so you're scanning. So, some people are running scans, like they're scanning stores continuously. They never stop scanning. And then they have, they have a staff of people that are continually pouring through reports. And so they're generating all of these lists, and then they sell the list. So you'll have a list of 10 items, and then they say, hey, you subscribe for $120 a month, you can get our list, once every other day or so many lists per week, and it's guaranteed to make you money. And so, that's how that kind of goes. So that's, but if I can just kind of touch on, I want people to walk away with this understanding that to sell on Amazon is not just about flipping. So what we talked about is primarily flipping, where you go from one store, you go from Kohl's, or you can go to Ross or TJ Maxx, especially the stores that what they call they're like your bargain stores. They're off price. That's the term. Off price stores. Mm-hmm. So you'll have like a Big Lots, you'll have a TJ Maxx, you have these off price stores. They're already getting these products. They get the surplus inventory than like what Target would get. Mm. And so, so these stores, they get the surplus. And they get it for dirt cheap. So that's why you can go to a Ross, you'll find some of the same inventory at a Target, but it'll cost more at Target and it'll be clearance prices at Ross. And so, when you shop these off-price stores, what they call retail arbitrage, you're going to a retail store and you're, you know, looking for deals, and then you resell it or flip it on Amazon. You do the same thing. That's, you know, so that's going to a brick and mortar store. They call that RA or retail arbitrage. Then you can do online arbitrage, where you're scanning stores online. You're using cashback sites, you know, to also save money. You know, if I go and buy something at Lowe's, I might also have a coupon code. I may also have a cashback of, you know, 5%. And so I'm also discounting my cost even more. So then when I take this item, I buy this item online, then I go and flip it on Amazon, and, you know, my margins have increased substantially because of the coupons and the gift cards and all that kind of stuff, with the cashbacks and all that. So that's your typical online arbitrage, your retail arbitrage, and that's for flippers. Then you get into wholesalers. And that's now where, as you begin to grow and you build your capital, you may not be out as much looking to flip. Now you have enough money where you can go to a wholesaler and say, hey, if I want to buy, I'm seeing your catalog some opportunities where I can wholesale this product. I can buy this product at wholesale prices, and I can sell on Amazon for a profit. Now, of course, you're not going to get the same margins that you would as a flipper. With a wholesaler, you might be getting 15% returns. You might get 20, 25% returns. But when you have $100,000 invested, a 25% return is a really good return. So as your capital is growing, you start looking for wholesale opportunities, because with wholesale, you can replenish. You know, when I have a wholesale account established with the company, and let's say I have 3 products that I wholesale from them and I'm selling them online, when those 3 products are selling through and my inventory starts running low, I can just call my wholesaler and say, hey, I need 300 more units of ABC. And so I can keep milking those 3 products from that wholesaler from now until. And I don't have to keep running out to stores or scanning online looking to see what opportunities are available. I'm no longer an opportunist or a flipper. Now I'm establishing wholesale, you know, or retail business where I source from a wholesaler and I'm selling it retail. And so, you know, so when you were asking about sourcing, that's the difference. And then the golden egg is when you begin to create your own product. And so now, you know, you work out a deal or something with a manufacturer. And this manufacturer is manufacturing this product for you. Now you stick your brand on it, and you have to, you market it, you build it up and everything to make it, you popularize it. And now you have a steady stream of buyers who like your product. And at that point, you know, that's the ultimate goal, is you build your own brand and you're selling your own products, and you don't have to go to a wholesaler or anything like that. So you just cut out the middleman. And so those are your 3 primary ways to source. You know, you're either flipping, you're either wholesaling, or you are either private labeling, building your own brand and selling that way.
So let me ask you guys, man, this is a wealth of information. Like, I know a lot of y'all was like, hey, I got a couple of shovels, let me throw them online, but it's deeper than that. As you can see, like we getting charts and we getting reports, but honestly, as we're learning, as you heard, even Mark and LaShawn and Will have said, I mean, a lot of time goes into this, you guys. This is just not something you think you're gonna get. Like I said, it's not a get rich quick. You gotta work just like every other business. You know what I'm saying? So but I would like you guys to give me this. I don't want to just cut a bunch of corners, but what are maybe a few things you would recommend to that starting out seller for products, even if they were just going to do it on eBay? You know, what is maybe some things with you guys' experience? Start trying to sell, not even if it's a specific product, but if it's in the family of, try to go with this to start out with and see how you do with that? Is there any kind of product that you would maybe recommend for the beginners, for everybody?
I think you could never go wrong if you're able to get Nike product. If you can sell it.
Yeah.
If you can get ungated in Amazon to sell it, that's the goal. That's the goose that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
That's if you can get that in. Even on eBay. If I was saying, if you're going to start, you can start selling Nike on eBay, local on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, just the local platforms. You may have to, meet people in Walmart's parking lot to get the sale. But what that will enable you to do is to start building capital.
Yeah.
And then have some money set aside, not your rent money.
Right.
Because
Yeah. No.
the most important is to be able to set, and I see a lot of people who fail at this because they're trying to pay their rent, pay their car note, and take care of their household responsibilities and start selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's the wrong way to start. You need to have some capital. Like if you go into garage sales and everything and you start to build up, but put that money aside and don't touch it. And then even after you sell, just to keep putting it, leave it in, keep putting it back in. That's not money that you want to pay. Only thing you're paying out of that is for your supplies.
That's
I would say if you had to find one product that that you could feel confident in, is if you can find Nike products. Maybe we're gonna have a different perspective, but that's when I got Nike, it doesn't matter what it was, new or used shoes.
wow. Okay.
Flipping those on eBay and local.
Okay. Now,
my wife, she's a big thrift. No, she's a big thrifter because she has her and Arne has a online thrifting platform that they're selling clothes, but they source from a lot of different places that they're selling on.
And look for things that are unique and different. Like say if you start off on eBay, look for things that are unique, that's different. Like I sold like some vintage Coca-Cola Santa Claus glasses to somebody over in Europe. And I think I found them at Goodwill for like $2. And I sold them for like $20 each. And so they were vintage Coca-Cola glasses. And so look for things that are unique, that are different, that everyone may not have. And sometimes things that are older, like say I've sold Cuisinart mixing bowls. A mixing bowl, I sold a mixing bowl I got for $1 for like $25 because that mixing bowl goes with that particular make of Cuisinart, say for example. So look for unique things. Sometimes people may have something that they've had for years. They just need a missing part. You might have that missing part that you might think is irrelevant, but it's not. Because if they have the missing part, they have the equipment, they have the equipment or the machine they need to do what they need to do. So look for things that are unique.
That's a great point because I just bought something really obscure. I needed a part for something that was electronic and I couldn't find it nowhere else. And I had to pay more than I really wanted to, but they were the only people that I couldn't find it nowhere else. That's actually a great point. And Mark, you made a great point in terms of what money to use for these projects. Don't use your rent, y'all, and don't make that first big sale and get excited. Now, Slade, I'm gonna hit you, but when Slade was early in the game, he told me about a big sale he made. I started jumping around. I'm like, hey, you did it. You're rich. Let's go out to eat. He said, brother, no. I'm putting all that back in. I said, what? I didn't realize. I said, oh, so you just go keep this going. I said, oh, okay, all right. So Slade, you got any tips for our listeners and viewers?
Yeah, man. So I just kind of want to, I'm going to break the mold a little bit. Well, first to answer your question, I think one of the main things that you can get started in is shoes. Everybody needs shoes. Everybody, anybody, anywhere. If you're driving around and you see people, pretty much everybody have on a pair of shoes. Yeah. So shoes. You can go to any of these off-price stores and they are clearing out shoes all the time. Learn how to sell shoes. And so, if someone's getting started, that's a great way to go. However, I mean, so like Deshaun said something to me that's just great. She got into and I want to say about her, like you didn't even touch on this, but she is an expert, a subject matter expert when it comes to couponing. She has mastered the art of going into stores and getting like walking out with a ton of stuff for like $5. And so now just imagine that. Now, like we were saying before, everything, there's a learning curve to everything. There is no get rich quick. You have to learn. Whatever you're going to do, you got to learn. But now imagine if you learn coupon. And so now you get really good at couponing, going into stores, getting things for next to nothing. And then you turn around and you bundle these items and sell them as bundles. That's it's a whole different aspect. And that's that's the angle that I've been teaching my wife. Yeah. She's in education. She's been in education for 20 years or more. And so she knows what teachers need. She knows what students need and all that kind of stuff. And so what she does is she creates back to school bundles. And these things sell out. She just don't sell a notebook and try to flip a notebook and all that. Right. She builds a kit and puts her little name on it, a such and such elementary school, back to school kit. And she puts things in it that are necessities and make it easy for parents so that they don't have to go and scrounge around trying to find all this stuff. You just buy this kit and your kid has everything that they need to start the elementary school year. And you'll be surprised. I mean, her latest kit, she was selling her kits for like $30 per bundle unit. And she was sourcing them for, I think, somewhere about, I would say somewhere about $11. Wow. So you're putting a bundle together for 11 and you're selling it for 30. So bundles is something that I would really recommend for people. If you have an expertise in some field or something like that, and you see a need, it's all about, people have a need and how can I minister to that need? How can I service that need? And so if you, in your profession, because you already understand your profession, you may say, hey, people are looking for, they want an easier life or to make their life easy in what they're doing. I can put something together as a bundle, save them time and convenience, and sell them as a bundle. So that's a whole nother way to go. It's just looking to bundle things together and sell it.
That's pretty smart too. Man, guys, I'm out of time and I got like 15 more things to get to, but people, hopefully you learned a little something. And again, like I said, with the way things are right now, unfortunately, with quarantines and restrictions, I just don't feel like we can really get out there like we used to and just flood the malls. So we are going to be forced online more. And if you've been thinking about it, if you've been like, maybe I could do a little something. I don't want to discourage you. I hope you learn some things to really just go from a little bit there to really maybe kind of make this something that you can do. But it is a lot of work, as they've told you, and it's a lot of dedication that goes into it. And I really like what Mark said in terms of that he actually invested in himself. He had to pay for this, class and service, and it was a lot. But if you're really gonna do it, do it. If not, it's no point, because there's 1,000 people selling one product that you're trying to think you can sell. So, but
Mark, can I jump in real quick, because there's an aspect that we sellers we have not touched on, and people need to know. Hey. Now, Mark, Deshaun, you all know when it comes to fourth quarter, like.
Yes, it's fourth quarter, which y'all keep saying.
Look, man, there's no way we can get off of this call and we don't talk about fourth quarter. Like, everything that your entire learning experience is really all building up for fourth quarter. There are literally people who they don't work a job, they don't do anything. All they do is take all their earnings, everything that they have, and they pour it into products in the fourth quarter. And they sell through the fourth quarter, and it is enough to sustain them for the next year.
So that's Christmas time you're talking like.
The Christmas time.
October to December.
October to,
Yes.
okay, that's fourth quarter. Okay, got it.
As an example, and I'm just going to give an example. I don't like to talk numbers and all that kind of stuff, but I'll give an example of what just happened for me like yesterday. Target had a sale on some scooters. These little, scooters with all these lights and all that kind of stuff on them. They were selling these things at their Black Friday event for like $20 for the scooters. I bought, I don't know how many scooters, maybe I think about 8 scooters or so. But anyway, I bought these scooters for $20. And because of the demand, these things were selling out. And so there's demand for them, but the supply is limited. And so on Amazon, I was able to flip those scooters at $89.99. So here I am. I mean, we're just talking scooter.
Wow.
A scooter.
Good Lord.
A $20 scooter. It sold out by the next day. All the scooters I put up, they sold out at $89.99. And so that is the point I'm making is the craze.
Yeah.
The craze of fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I would love for everyone to experience the craze of fourth quarter. It's pretty much like whatever you got, if you just throw it at the wall, it will sell.
So
I mean, it is. I can't express enough the ridiculousness of fourth quarter. I can't express enough how much profit you can make in fourth quarter. But that's why I encourage people to just start learning how to sell at the beginning of the year. Just start learning how to sell. Because by the time fourth quarter gets here, you'll already know how to pack. You'll already know how to fulfill orders. You'll already know how to source. You'll already have all the fundamentals under you. And then by the time you get to fourth quarter, oh my Lord, it will reward you handsomely. You will see that this is crazy. People are spending crazy money for Christmas. So I just had to throw that out there. And Sean, Mark, am I right about fourth quarter? Am I over exaggerating at all?
Well, we talked earlier, and I called you from my car, and I was heading to Kohl's to buy electric can openers. What I did, no, let me tell you what I did. I circled the whole city and bought up all the electric can openers in the city. Couldn't find, because you can't find them on Kohl's online store. It was only local. So I went and bought them all up. And I was listing them from my cell phone on Amazon before I even picked them up from the store. And they were selling before I even had them in hand. I'm talking about $14 can openers that were selling for $45.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Mott, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I don't even, what's funny? I kind of can relate because in my brief selling career, I used to work at Nordstrom, and I worked selling, I was in the women's shoe department. But when I started around the holidays, and our stock room was so big, you had to spend a week before you could even come out on the floor just to learn the stock room. Wow. And that still was enough time. So when I got on the showroom floor, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to, and the guy told me we were selling those UGG boots, those.
Right,
those
yes,
UGG.
yes.
Yeah.
He said, and so we had all these kind of shoes, but then we had this huge display of UGGs. He said, son, just stand by these UGGs and let them come to you. I made more money off UGGs than my career in any other shoe, because people were going crazy. They just, I don't care what size, just give me the UGGs. And I said, good Lord, they just really, and it was in the fourth quarter. So yeah. I want to thank my guests. I want to thank LaShawn and Mark Wilson, Mr. Will Slade as well. for all my entrepreneurs out there, they're really not saying anything different than anybody that I brought on these shows. I've had a successful salon owner. I've had people be, in music business successful. You got to grind, and you have to learn from somebody who's doing it better than you. And so you don't, beat your head up against the wall. So thank you guys for the time and the information. Of course, check us out. This is the Shareholders Podcast. I'm Monty Mont. You know where to find us at, of course, and we will be putting this out hopefully in time for some of y'all to maybe catch that tail end on that fourth quarter. But thank you guys for the time. I appreciate it. All right. Be blessed.
All right, God bless you.
This has been a production of the Mighty Sharp Network. Executive producer is Monty Mont. Watch the corners and always stay sharp.